Welcome, Blogtoberfest folk, to
Woo!
Geek Salad's Blogtober 2018 contribution. We were asked, solicited, nay, bullied by our dear friend Jackie Stevenson, who writes at writerjax.net and also at writerjax on Twitter, to come up with this month's Blogtoberfest submission. In the past, I have done articles. This year, we're doing something a little different. We are going to do a video, which will eventually be up for public consumption. But we're going to have, yes?
Public consumption.
But we're going to make it kind of a Blogtoberfest exclusive through the month of Blogtober. Yeah, sorry. Rocktober was last month, I thought.
Yeah, sorry, Blogtober just
fall season. It's also Brocktober as well because Brock Holt hit the cycle, baby. If that date's when we're recording this. So anyway, Mike and I, who are host a little podcast called Geek Salad, which you can check out at geeksalad.podbean.com. Also available at iTunes, at Stitcher, at Spotify, at Google Music. Get 4 there. That's really cool.
and YouTube.
Oh, and YouTube right here. You can check out all of our archives. Currently, right now, our last show, which is available on all the platforms I just talked about. We talk about movie scores, which Jackie had contributed to.
Yes. Thank you very much, Jackie.
Yes, thank you. She also, we may have accidentally singled her out on one thing, which, to my great shame.
Yeah. Like we've never done that before. Come on.
I know. So, for Blogtober, we are in the midst of Halloween season. In fact, I just put up the gravestones and light up ghosts and pumpkins in my front yard.
Wow.
I don't end this season.
Nice. You are the pumpkin king.
Talk to something that is unique to anything we have talked about, but still within the Geek Salad wheelhouse. Currently, right now, we are doing a full monthly YouTube series weekly on horror movies.
Well,
horror movies.
Halloween movies.
What's that?
Halloween movies.
Halloween movies. We'll also have our 11th annual Halloween episode by the end of the month.
Yep.
So what we decided to do was something a little different. We're going to talk comic books, but not just any comic books. We're going to talk about our select monsters in mainstream comic books.
As in Marvel and DC.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get started. We picked 3 from each, 3 from DC, 3 from Marvel. Mike, where would you like to start, sir? I'll let you go first.
Let's you know what? Let's start with DC.
With DC?
Yep.
All right. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's start with the one that we probably know the least amount about. He was born on a Monday. He was Solomon Grundy.
This dude right here, Solomon Grundy.
Who is basically a zombie.
Yeah, pretty much. He's a zombie. He's kind of a sucky zombie, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I know very little about him. I know he has shown up in on Super Friends.
Yeah.
He lives in a swamp.
Well, I mean, to be fair, in half of Super Friends, the League of Villains were in a swamp anyway.
That's very, very true. That's, oh my God, you're right. It's really, really true. There's actually a book that my son has with like those little like Hallmark little stuffy figures.
Oh, yeah.
He's got one of Superman, and he's got one of Crypto, and they actually have to. Crypto has to defeat Solomon Grundy, who's also kind of adorable.
Of course, you know. Yeah, why not? You know, he's an undead zombie creature thing.
Yep, he is. I'm just pulling up his Wikipedia page right now so we can learn a little bit more about Mr. Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, original actual name Cyrus Gold.
Okay. Do you know anything more about him?
Just what I read on Wikipedia earlier.
Okay. Named after the 19th century nursery rhyme, Grundy was introduced as an enemy of the Golden Age comic book hero Alan Scott, the original Green
Lantern.
Lantern, who had next to no green in his outfit, but did have yellow.
And yeah, and he also he had a weakness for wood.
Yes, that one did. Yes. Yes, I was told murder. His body is disposed in Slaughter Swamp near Gotham City. Yes, DC Comics. Subtlety is not in our naming scheme.
Because Gotham City's been around for thousands of years, right?
Yep. Oh, God. He's just one of these disposable villains. If you need to have a big dude show up. Now, has he shown up in Arrowverse at all?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm hideously behind, and I think all of the Arrowverse. I'm at least a season or two behind on all of them, but I don't remember hearing about Solomon Grundy appear. I do think he might have made an appearance in Smallville, in one of the later episodes.
All right.
But actually, where I do know him the most is I think he was a villain in Batman Arkham City.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. They were really they had to like empty out the treasure trove.
Yeah,
for all those Arkham games.
Yeah, basically the Penguin had him in this like pit that he would throw people to, like Jabba to the Rancor.
Right. Or the Stormtroopers to Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Don't ever forget, Chewbacca ate somebody.
Well, why not? He's a Wookiee, and he's hungry.
All right. So let's move on to Marvel, where I'm essentially just doing this for the sake of the visual gag here. Next character up, this dude here.
There we go.
Fang Foom. I want to point out one thing. He's wearing pants. Where's that? He's wearing pants.
Yeah, and it looks like they're Hulk's hand-me-downs.
Yeah, pretty much. Most of the jokes about Fang Foom is that he's just a big dragon who's got probably something to contain in there because he's got to wear the tights or the pants.
Yeah, he's an alien dragon that I think he was first Fantastic Four villain.
First appearance.
Which one?
1961 was his first. I think it like Tales to Astonish.
Oh, yeah. Okay. He's at the time Asian stereotypes were just fine when dandy.
Right. Exactly. He's essentially a Thor villain, and if he was done in the MCU now, you would find out that his character is just an elaborate ruse by a quirky British man.
Well said, sir. Well said.
I dug deep for that cut.
Yeah, I gotta heal that over now.
While you're digging, Mike, what about your next DC pick?
All right, next DC pick is he's really only known for one thing, but damn if that one thing isn't a big thing, it is Doomsday.
Yes, Doomsday in our high-tech things.
Oh, that I like that shot.
Yeah. Yes, he is known for one thing, and that's killing Superman.
Which is a pretty good thing to be known for. Right.
Now, I think that Doomsday is one of these characters that outside of that, what else?
I don't know. He's made like a few other appearances, but I think it's been more of like kind of like offshoots of him that have been weaker. I know he went toe-to-toe with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I think at one time, and I think Wonder Woman beat him. Which he wasn't nearly as strong as the Doomsday that killed Superman.
The interesting thing about that whole Death of Superman arc, and I remember seeing this in the documentary about Superman, is that it came out the week that there was nothing else going on in the news.
Yep.
So it made every headline. It made the front page of everything because in 1992, we didn't have to worry about shit.
I remember seeing the news that night and it's like, hey, Superman is dead. I'm like, no.
It's just one of those things that I think the shock of the story is better than the overall story itself because we had a year's worth of imposter Supermans, and
Yeah.
the 90s were a dark time. Not to mention the fact that Doomsday has made a cinematic appearance as a cave troll.
And well, he was also in on, I think, was it the 6th or 7th season of Smallville?
Yeah, he was.
He was played by Sam Witwer.
Oh God.
Yeah, Sam Witwer played his human form, and then every now and then he would morph into the Doomsday form, which still looked better than the thing that Zack Snyder gave us.
Mike, look at this. This is my shocked face.
No, it isn't.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to
you do have to admit though the actual comic of Death of Superman, the final one, that fight was epic.
Right. It's all art. It's all artwork. I mean, it is a really good comic book, and yes, it's a tentpole in the most famous comic book stories ever told.
Yeah.
I don't think it scratches the surface in terms of even the best DC storytelling.
No, they've been much better stories.
It'd get people to talk.
Yeah.
So the next one on my list is going to come as a shock to many people, and that is Groot.
Yep.
We remember Groot as, the character from Guardians of the Galaxy. Says 3 words, I and am and Groot, exclusively in that order. This Groot, the monster from Planet X, as mentioned in Tales to Astonish number 13, is, behold, I am Groot the Invincible. Who dares to defy me?
That sounds a bit more verbose
in there. But there's a lot more words in there. And then, I defy Groot, I shall destroy you before midnight. I don't know who that dude is.
It was one of the Tales to Astonish heroes, which, for the most part, never made it out of Tales to Astonish.
Right, exactly. Tales to maybe, go, oh my. But it was the early, this is pre-Kennedy assassination 60s.
Yeah.
God, we were white. It astounds me that Groot is probably one of the oldest characters in Marvel Comics, at least in Marvel Comics as we know it now, not timely comics or whatever started Captain America.
Yeah, I mean, he's far older than the rest of the
Guardians
line of Guardians. Yeah,
which is interesting too because now he's the most popular.
I think we can thank Mr. James Gunn for that.
I agree. I think that the crossover appeal for the character, especially the baby versions, have just been. Those are some of the best parts of both movies.
All 3 actually, if you include Infinity War.
Yeah, you're right. I should include Infinity War in that because Teenage Groot is awesome.
I am Groot. Oh, language.
Listen to you. You get a little sap down there, and all of a sudden you're mouthing off. I like the current iteration of Groot. I know nothing about this big tree monster that they have that is a giant.
All I know is he probably didn't make it too far out of that issue.
Yeah. And then he showed up in Guardians, and he is Groot.
Yeah.
We are Groot.
Oh.
All right, what do you got next?
The final DC one. I know this one is near and dear to your heart. It is Swamp Thing.
Yes. Hold on, I have it right here. This was the very first issue I ever got a Swamp Thing. Saga of the Swamp Thing from 1982. This is where I found out that there was a creature named Swamp Thing because there was a movie tie-in.
Who was the writer on that one?
This was it. It wasn't Len Wein. Len Wein actually was the guy who created Swamp Thing. This actually doesn't have any of the names.
Yeah.
of the creators on the thing. But again, it was made primarily as a tie-in for the movie that got slowly got a life of its own.
Yeah, thanks to a couple of Sci-Fi Channel series.
Well, you had the Wes Craven movie in '82 with Louis Jourdan and Adrian Barbeau, the Barbeau bot.
Yeah.
So you had that one. You had the '89 movie
Wait.
with Dick Turok as
Oh
and
yeah,
Heather Locklear's in it too, and that was done primarily for camp though.
yeah, and that was the basis of the like the 1 or 2 season show.
The TV show on USA.
Yeah, which I
Um,
remember from Sci-Fi Channel, like early days of Sci-Fi Channel.
but the biggest resurgence this had was in the late '80s. Alan Moore took over,
Yeah,
and Alan Moore made it more of like Swamp Jesus.
yeah. I mean, it's weird. Alan Moore pretty much had a pick for of anyone he wanted, and he was like, you know, that Swamp guy. I think I'll take him. I don't know if that how Alan Moore sounds. I just was trying to go cranky and beardy.
Yeah, I was just going. I'm so bold.
Oh, he's British. Okay.
Yeah, no, he is very British. I'm sure that there's beans in that beard somewhere. Yeah, no, it's a good thing they haven't done a Swamp Thing movie, so he could piss all over that one too.
Hey, they're making a Swamp Thing series for the DC Universe streaming service.
Oh, for God's sakes!
Hey, they may make it dark and gritty because why not? Because
Yeah, DC still hasn't gotten that grimdark out of themselves yet.
yeah.
I just remember the issues I read, and I always thought I had read it for like 3 years. I looked at some of the covers of some of the issues.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped at issue 10.
So not 3 years.
Not even for 1 year. Exactly. It's just weird because the long before we had access to comic book shops, I could get my comic books at a convenience store.
Mm.
They stopped carrying them, so I stopped collecting them. So yeah, I didn't get my comic books anymore. But yeah, no, it was like 10 issues, and that was it.
Yeah,
That's moved in 10 issues.
Well, hey, it was memorable for you, so they must have done something right.
Right, exactly. You know what else they did right? They spawned a shameless ripoff.
Oh yeah. Oh well, Marvel did anyway.
Yeah, no, they definitely did. This is Marvel's shameless ripoff. This is the Man-Thing. He's essentially Swamp Thing, except if you touch him and you have fear in your heart, you'll burst into flames.
Yeah, and he has no sentience at all. He's just a lumbering oaf, basically.
Yes, he's a lumbering oaf.
Cool. That's about the limit of what I know about Man-Thing. Oh, other than Sci-Fi Channel made a movie on him.
Yes, they did. They did. He's also interesting too because he's that one outlier. Like when you see the Venn diagram of who owns what for Marvel, it's like you've got Universal, and inside of Universal is Namor and the Hulk.
Actually, I don't know if they've got Namor anymore.
This was a while ago.
Yeah. Actually, I think Namor might have been Paramount.
Okay. But whatever. It was just like I think this was Lionsgate.
Sounds about right.
That had Man-Thing, and it's cute because they did like a little emoji version of him too. Because why not put all that effort into Man-Thing?
Well, you know what? To be fair, I don't think really Marvel has any plans to do anything with Man-Thing. So
why would you? Right, exactly. Why would you? And no one's clamoring for it.
No.
So I mean, and this isn't a universe where you got a successful cinematic version of a raccoon with guns
and a walking, talking tree.
Yeah, that is pretty much my go-to argument for everything now.
It's a good argument.
Exactly. That is my movie argument going forward. last one on the list, and this is a Marvel thing. Every comic book has their version of the living vampire. Marvel's was this dude here. Wait for the white balance to kick in. Mobius. What? Spider-Man rather. Good Lord, what's wrong with me?
Well, I mean, there's actually both a Marvel and a DC version of Dracula, but this one is a little bit different, and he's a good guy and a bad guy. Alternatively,
he's a weird one. He's definitely like he had his own comic book. And he's not a Dracula, I guess is the best layman's way I can say it.
Yeah, he was he wasn't he part of the Midnight Suns for a while?
He may have been
with Blade and Ghost Rider.
He may have been. I just to me, Blade is one of those weird characters anyway. Yeah. Like, I know him more for the movie than I ever did on anything he did with the comic books. But, you know, thanks to Avi Arad.
Actually, in Sony's, non-Spider-Verse, apparently a Morbius movie is on the table.
Yes, and I believe they have Jared Leto on the books for that.
I mean, you know what? I could see him more as Morbius than I can as him as the Joker.
Very true. So, yeah. No, I actually prefer more the Draculas in Marvel Comics.
As do I. Although Morbius is he's a nice change of pace.
Right. I mean, if you want a good Dracula story, in Marvel Comics, I'll pull it up for you real quick because I'm just going to pull up my Marvel Unlimited subscription. Where the hell is it?
And while you're looking for that, if you want a good Dracula story in DC, apparently there's like a Batman versus Dracula issue or miniseries that's pretty badass.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Well, I mean, it's Batman and Dracula.
Yeah.
Can't really go wrong.
Right. Damn it. Where the hell is it? All right. Browse. X. All right. You know what? Just go for the X-Men Annual 1982.
Oh.
It's got Storm on the cover.
Oh, yes. I remember that one.
And Rachel Van Helsing is like their go-between. She's become a vampire as well. It is. I was 10. I believe I was in the hospital, and this was one of the comic books that my grandparents got me. That was like, oh yes, I like this comic book.
Yeah,
I got a lot of Creature Commandos and other things, but I definitely got this one, and I loved it.
Actually, I know fairly recently, for a while, Jubilee was a vampire on the X-Men.
Okay.
I think they fixed that recently, though.
No, they fixed it. Why? Does Jubilee still exist?
Yeah. But
then they never fixed it, Mike. They never fixed it. She's a crappy character.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for her, Jubilee.
90s cartoon kid.
Exactly. that was honestly, that was kind of my introduction to X-Men. So,
oh God, here's a softball. I'm gonna lob it to you right now.
Hey, it worked. I'm here now.
So that is our list of comic book monsters. If there's anything you felt that we missed, maybe we'll do a second part next year, and we'll remember where the comment section is. You can feel free to comment below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put out content once a week, usually movie reviews and the like, but we also do things like we've been talking a lot about the Disney parks. We have a Disney discussion in the works. I don't know when we're going to get it done, but we have another Disney discussion in the works. We also post the audio versions of our podcasts on here as well. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, hit the bell to be notified whenever we have stuff up. I swear to God, because we only do this once or twice a week, we're not going to bug the hell out of you.
No. I can't tell you how many times I've gone one day, checked it, and I've had how do I get 60 notifications? I'm not even alerted by that many sites anymore.
I don't hit the bell because I'm like, I just go to the YouTube thing and like, where are my subscriptions? There they are.
Yep.
Here's all the new things I can passively listen to while I cook dinner or drive. So anyway, if you like our stuff, again, don't forget you can subscribe to our podcast at geeksalad.podbean.com. Download it through the Podbean app. Also, check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Music as well. We are also available on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio and on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. So feel free to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and yeah.
So, Jax, how was that?
I hope that was good. Anyway, I've been Andy.
I've been Mike.
You've been awesome. Go forth, be nerdful, and happy Blogtober, everyone.
Bye-bye.